Hello, my dear friend. So, let's talk about dancing with the most emotionally volatile partner you'll ever meet, Mr. Market. Now, I created this character back in a simpler time, but believe me, his mood swings have only gotten more extreme in the age of algorithmic trading and social media hype. The fundamental truth remains, Mr. Market is there to serve you, not to guide you. His daily offers are opportunities, not commands. But here's where most investors fail spectacularly. They start taking his mood swings personally. They see prices crashing and internalize it as personal failure. They see prices soaring and attribute it to their own genius. This emotional entanglement is what destroys portfolios. The successful investor, he treats Mr. Market like that unpredictable friend who shows up at your door at 3 a.m., sometimes with a brilliant business idea, sometimes convinced the world is ending. You don't adopt his worldview. You simply assess whether what he's offering today is worth buying or selling. Think about the last major market crash, any of them. COVID, the financial crisis, the dot-com bubble. In each case, Mr. Market was practically giving away quality businesses at fire sale prices because he was terrified. The investors who understood our dance, they were buying when everyone else was paralyzed with fear. They weren't smarter than everyone else. They just had a framework that allowed them to see panic as opportunity. Now let's make this practical for your investing today. How do you actually dance with this manic depressive partner without getting emotionally whipsawed? First, you need a clear understanding of intrinsic value, what we discussed in our last session. Without that compass, Mr. Market's emotional outbreaks will sweep you away. Second, you establish your price levels in advance. You decide when Mr. Market is euphoric and offering ridiculous prices above X dollars, I will be a seller. When he's depressed and offering bargains below Y dollars, I will be a buyer. This removes emotion from the equation entirely. The amateur tries to time Mr. Market's moods. The professional simply waits for Mr. Market to visit him with the right offer. It's the difference between chasing a manic dance partner around the room versus standing firm and letting him come to you on your terms. This patience, this discipline to wait for the right pitch, is what separates the wealthy from the permanently stressed. Now, I want to address the modern objection I hear constantly. But Ben, today's markets are different. With high-frequency trading and Robinhood investors, Mr. Market has become completely irrational. My answer is simple, wonderful. The more irrational he becomes, the better for us. When Mr. Market was relatively stable, the discounts were modest. But when he's swinging from euphoria to despair in single trading sessions, that's when we get our 30%, 40%, even 50% margins of safety. The chaos isn't our enemy, it's our advantage. Think about the meme stock phenomenon. When GameStop was trading at $400, Mr. Market was clearly manic. When it crashed back to $40, he was depressed. The intelligent investor didn't play the momentum game. He either sold to the euphoric crowd or bought from the terrified one, but only if the price made business sense. That's the dance. It's not about predicting Mr. Market's next move. It's about having the emotional stability to capitalize on whatever move he makes. Because here's the secret I learned over 50 years. Mr. Market will always be emotional. That's his nature. Your job isn't to change him. Your job is to understand yourself well enough to avoid catching his emotions. The greatest risk in investing isn't market volatility. It's your own psychological response to that volatility. So the next time you see the market crashing 5% in a day, instead of panicking, ask yourself, is Mr. Market having one of his episodes? Is he offering me quality businesses at bargain prices today? If the answer is yes, then you thank him for the opportunity. You buy with discipline, and you sleep well knowing you're not dancing to his tune. He's dancing to yours. That, my friends, is how you turn market volatility from a threat into your greatest advantage. Now that we understand Mr. Market's temperament, let's discuss the actual dance steps. How do you practically execute this strategy in today's hyper-connected markets? The first rule is you must have a written plan before the storm hits. I cannot emphasize this enough. When the market is crashing 10% in a day and your portfolio is bleeding red, that is not the time to be calculating intrinsic value or deciding your strategy. That's like trying to learn dance moves while the floor is shaking. Your investment plan should be as precise as a flight checklist. It should clearly state, when Company A, which I have thoroughly researched and whose intrinsic value I estimate at $100 per share, trades at $70 or below, I will allocate X% of my cash to purchase it. This pre-commitment does something remarkable to your psychology. It transforms market chaos from a threat into a shopping list. While everyone else is panicking, you're calmly executing predetermined decisions. This is the professional edge. Second, you must always keep dry powder, cash reserves for when Mr. Market truly loses his mind. The biggest mistake investors make is being fully invested at all times. They feel this psychological pressure to always be in the game, to never miss out. This is complete nonsense. In fact, some of the most successful investments of my career came from having cash when no one else did. During the Great Depression, when banks were failing and people were hoarding cash under mattresses, that's when the greatest bargains emerged. The same pattern repeated in 2008, 2000, and 2020. The investors who suffered were those who were over-leveraged or fully invested with no cash reserves. The ones who prospered were those with liquidity and courage. Let me give you a modern example. Imagine you've identified 3 wonderful companies, Microsoft, Johnson & Johnson, and Berkshire Hathaway. You've done your homework, calculated their intrinsic values, and determined you'd be thrilled to own them at 30% discounts. Now, in normal markets, they might never hit those prices. But then comes a recession scare, or a Fed announcement, or geopolitical tension, and Mr. Market panics. Suddenly, all stocks are selling off indiscriminately. Your watch list companies are now at your target prices. This is when you deploy your cash methodically, without emotion. You're not buying because you think the bottom is in. You're buying because Mr. Market is offering you your predetermined bargain prices. This is the exact opposite of what the crowd is doing. They're selling in panic. You're buying with discipline. They're watching CNBC terrified. You're checking off items from your shopping list. This psychological shift from reactive to proactive is everything. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what if I'm wrong? What if the company I buy at $70 drops to $50? This is where our margin of safety protects us. Remember, we're not trying to catch the absolute bottom. We're trying to buy wonderful businesses at good prices. If it drops further, and if our analysis still holds, we might buy more. But here's the key insight. We don't need to be right every time. We just need our winners to significantly outperform our losers, and the margin of safety ensures exactly that. The goal isn't perfection. It's favorable probabilities over hundreds of decisions. That's how you build lasting wealth. Now let's tackle the million-dollar question. How do you maintain this emotional discipline when everyone around you is losing their minds? This is where most intellectual understanding fails in the face of raw market emotion. You see, knowing the steps to the dance is one thing. Executing them when the music turns chaotic is entirely another. The first psychological tool is what I call the perspective of decades. Before making any decision during market turmoil, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. Will this decision matter in 20 years? When you're watching your portfolio drop 20% in a month, it feels catastrophic. But if you're buying quality businesses at bargain prices, 20 years from now, you'll look back and realize those were the moments that built your fortune. The second tool is even more powerful. The Prepared Mind Journal. I want you to physically write down with pen and paper your responses to potential market scenarios before they happen. For example, if the market drops 30% and my portfolio is down X dollars, I will do Y. I will check my watch list of quality companies. I will verify that their business fundamentals remain strong, and I will deploy Z% of my cash at these specific price points. Why does this work? Because during actual market stress, your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, gets hijacked by the amygdala, your fear center. You literally become temporarily less intelligent under stress, but a written plan bypasses this emotional hijacking. It becomes your automated response system. Now, let's address the modern challenge of information overload. In my day, we had the newspaper and quarterly reports. Today, you have CNBC blaring, Twitter exploding, Reddit threads multiplying, and 20 different financial apps sending push notifications every minute. This constant noise is designed to make you feel like you must do something, anything, right now. But the truth is exactly the opposite. The more noise there is, the more valuable inaction becomes. I want you to conduct a simple experiment. Next time there's a market crash, turn off all your screens. Don't check your portfolio. Don't read financial news. Instead, pull out your prepared investment plan and your watch list. While everyone else is drowning in real-time data and emotional reactions, you'll be making calm, rational decisions based on predetermined criteria. This is how you transform from being a passive victim of market volatility to an active architect of your financial future. Let me share a personal story from 1974, one of the worst bear markets in history. The mood was absolutely bleak, worse than 2008, worse than 2020. Every day brought more bad news. Most investors were frozen, waiting for some sign that the bottom was in. But my partner and I, we were methodically buying wonderful businesses at prices so low they seemed like typing errors. Did we catch the absolute bottom? Of course not. But we didn't need to. We were buying dollars for 50 cents. The emotional discipline to keep buying when others were paralyzed came directly from our written plan and our long-term perspective. We weren't smarter than other investors. We just had a better psychological framework. And that framework is what I'm trying to give you today. Because in the end, investing isn't about beating the market. It's about mastering yourself. The final piece of psychological armor, understanding that Mr. Market's mood swings are temporary, but business value is enduring. Great companies continue generating cash, innovating, and serving customers, regardless of what the stock price does today or tomorrow. When you internalize this truth, daily price fluctuations transform from terrifying threats into meaningless noise. You stop watching the ticker and start watching the business, which is exactly where your attention should have been all along. And so we arrive at the heart of the matter. After all our talk of Mr. Market, margin of safety, and emotional discipline, what is the ultimate goal? It is not merely to accumulate wealth, but to achieve something far more precious, peace of mind. The true measure of a successful investment strategy is how well you sleep at night. If you're constantly checking stock prices, lying awake worrying about Fed meetings, or feeling that knot in your stomach every time the market dips, then you have forgotten the fundamental purpose of investing. You are supposed to be the master of your investments, not their servant. The framework we've built together today, understanding Mr. Market's nature, having a written plan, maintaining cash reserves, and focusing on long-term business value rather than short-term price fluctuations. This isn't just about making money. It's about building a fortress of psychological stability around your financial life. It's about reaching a state where you can watch the market crash 20% and feel not fear but opportunity, where you can see a stock you own double in price and feel not greed, but the discipline to reassess whether it still offers good value. This emotional equilibrium is the real treasure. It's what allows you to live your life fully, to focus on your family, your passions, and your purpose, without being constantly distracted by the noise of Wall Street. So, as we conclude our dance lesson with Mr. Market, I want you to remember this. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in any stock or bond. It is in developing the character, the patience, and the wisdom to be a true investor rather than a mere speculator. This journey of self-mastery is what separates the truly wealthy from those who merely have money. And remember, the market will always be here, offering its daily temptations and terrors. Your job is to be ready, not with perfect predictions, but with perfect preparation. Now, if you found value in our time together today, and you'd like to continue this journey toward becoming an unshakable investor, I invite you to join our growing community here at the Behavioral Investor. We're building something special, a sanctuary from the market's madness where we can explore these timeless principles together. Your support through subscribing and engaging with our videos allows us to continue this important work. Until next time, may your margins be wide, your patience deep, and your sleep peaceful. This is Benjamin Graham reminding you that the most successful investment strategy is ultimately the one that lets you live your best life.